The Secret War of the Navajo Code Talkers. If they crack the code, we lose the war. The words echoed in Private First Class Toyazi Bigay's ears as the metal doors slammed behind him. The year was 1942, and Yazi, a quiet 19-year-old from the Navajo Nation in Arizona, had just been sworn into the most secretive mission in the entire U.S. military. To wasn't like the other soldiers. He didn't join the Marines to fight. He was recruited because of his language, a language the white men once told him was useless. Now, it was America's last hope. When the Japanese army cracked every American code during World War II, entire battalions were ambushed, supply ships sunk, and strategies exposed. The generals were desperate. That's when Major James L. Collins walked into the Navajo reservation with an idea that sounded insane. Turn your language into a war code. Navajo was unwritten, tonal, and impossible to understand without growing up inside the culture. It was perfect. But could it be turned into a military weapon? Yazi remembered his grandfather's warning. Our tongue is sacred. If you use it for war, it will either save you or curse you. Camp Elliott, California. 14 Navajo men, including Yazi, trained harder than anyone else, not just physically, but mentally. They rewired their ancient tongue into a battlefield code. Tank became Chedaugahi, tortoise. Fighter plane was Doitai, hummingbird. Every letter of the alphabet had a Navajo word. They memorized it all under oath. No writing, no records. If captured, they were to deny everything. Even the American soldiers around them weren't told the truth. They called Yazi and the others weird Indians with radios. What they didn't know was that every victory on the Pacific Front would soon depend on those radios. Battle of Guadalcanal, 1943. As bullets rained from the sky and jungle exploded around them, Yazi crouched inside a muddy foxhole with a radio strapped to his back. His partner, Charlie Nez, tapped him on the shoulder. Command wants a message out now. Yazi's fingers flew over the radio. Ni hatsa. Shush, he transmitted in rapid Navajo. A sergeant watched, confused. What the hell did he just say? Coordinates, artillery, enemy location, reinforcements. 2 minutes later, American airstrikes wiped out a Japanese bunker that had pinned down their troops for days. Yazi didn't blink. But that night, under the red moonlight, he whispered, "Grandfather, is our tongue still sacred? Or is it stained now?" The missions grew riskier. Okinawa, Iwo Jima, Saipan. One by one, battles were turning in favor of the Allies, thanks to messages sent in a language the Japanese could never decipher. General Howard Connor once said, "Were it not for the Navajos, the Marines would never have taken Iwo Jima." But with success came danger. The Japanese were listening, and soon they noticed a pattern, a voice that always came before disaster. They didn't know his name, but they called him the Whispering Ghost. June 1944, Saipan. Yazi had just transmitted a mission update when he heard it. Crack! A bullet grazed the radio. Then another. They were being hunted. "Run!" Charlie yelled. They sprinted into the jungle, Japanese scouts on their trail. But these weren't normal soldiers. They were trained code hunters. That night, hiding under roots in the dark, Yazi looked at Charlie. "If they capture us," Charlie nodded grimly. "We disappear. No rescue. No story. Not even a grave," Yazi whispered. 3 nights later, they emerged, half-starved, injured, but alive. And the code? Still unbroken. By now, Yazi was no longer just a radio operator. He was a ghost in the war, known only by his voice, feared by the enemy, invisible to history. But the price was heavy. He couldn't write home, couldn't tell his family what he was doing. When he returned on leave, even his own mother thought he was just a supply clerk. "You smell like blood, but you speak like silence," she said. August 6, 1945, Hiroshima. The war was ending. Yazzie stood by his radio and heard the news like everyone else. But he didn't cheer. He remembered faces, friends, battles. He remembered when Charlie stepped on a mine at Iwo Jima and died with the code still safe in his mouth. 1968 to 23 years later, the mission was finally declassified. The world learned the truth. 400 Navajo men saved thousands of American lives, using a language once forbidden in U.S. schools. Reporters came. TV shows called. Medals were handed out. But Yazzie didn't show up. He was in Arizona, standing by his grandfather's grave. I used our tongue to save lives. I hope I made it holy again. The wind whispered through the canyon. Some say it sounded like the hummingbird. Others say it sounded like a ghost, still whispering secrets the world can't understand. Hook-ending voiceover for storytelling. You've heard of tanks, bombs, and bullets. But have you ever heard of a war won with words? This is not just a story. It's a secret that saved a nation, told in a voice the world tried to silence.